Hello, I'm Teress and I'm a teacher trainer. It's my pleasure to contribute to the series of teacher training for the textbook Tiếng Anh 1 I Learn Smart Start. Our theme today is structure and sentence building for young learners. Grammar does play an important role in language learning, especially in the early stages of the process, where a new language can be seen very contradictory, lacking structures and rules, and disorganized. Let's admit it, teaching sentence structure to young learners is not easy at all, because they learn very differently and process information, especially languages, in a very different way to adults. However, if you keep the needs and interests of your learners and your grammar lessons reflect this, your students can easily learn anything you teach in class. As you can see, building a sentence is a little bit like solving a jigsaw puzzle. As young learners, they don't know much, so they will have a difficult time putting the puzzle pieces together. That's why in this video, I will help you understand how different it is teaching young learners from teaching adults. Next, what types of tasks are suitable for teaching young learners? Then, I will share the important steps that you can use to have a meaningful and productive sentence structures lessons for young learners. After that, I will show you a sample lesson with some more engaging activities. Now, how is it different to teaching adults? Young learners have different motivations to learn. Adults may have to learn the language for specific purposes such as work, tasks, or travel. But children may have to learn it as a subject in their school. Second, young learners process language differently. Children whose brains and language processing centers continue to develop until into early adulthood, they process language differently. Just observe the way children learn the first language by identifying the most relevant content words in the context of their own experience. Mom, Papa, or outside, these are often the most common words children learn first. Children, especially young children, are repetitive learners. Repetition in context is the keystone to making progress. And finally, young learners learn best through experience and use. This suggests that children engage with language and learn it best when it is meaningful and relevant. In this sense, we say that communication in young learner classrooms needs to be meaning-driven. In that, the priority needs to be communication and negotiation of the message, and the analysis of the form and grammar comes secondary to this. So, how does this affect the types of tasks we choose for our young learners? Well, in general, we might say that activities should be meaning-driven with a secondary focus on form. We reinforce a focus on grammar forms by maximizing repetition. Tasks should be age-appropriate. Tasks should reflect what our learners might need to do, to say, or to use in their daily lives. That the tasks are enjoyable and challenging. Alright, let's think of how we can develop a structured lesson. Here are the 3 suggested stages to teach structures. Stage 1, sentence building. Stage 2, drilling and controlled practice. Stage 3, personalization. Stage 1, sentence building. In this stage, teacher can talk and write slowly to introduce the structure to students. Practice reading it out loud with pronunciation and intonation focuses. Make sure that your students can memorize the first example of the structure at this first stage. 2. Drilling and control practice. In this stage, teacher makes students understand the structures with some gradual substitutions of some parts of the structure. When they can understand the structure, put them into more drilling practice with various activities, songs, chants, games, challenges to encourage their productions. Stage 3, personalization. After the first part of controlled practice, students can feel more confident with the structure now. Put them into free practice, role play and situation to personalize the structure with their own sentences. Let's take a closer look at the sentence structure part of a lesson. After the first part to teach new vocabulary to students, the second part is for introducing the structure to them. First, teacher will talk and write the main structure of the lesson. In this lesson, the target structure is a pencil. Next, put students into practicing the pronunciation of the structure. Teacher can say the sentence with pronunciation focus, and the students repeat after the teacher. Teacher can also let students practice with the intonation by using the technique sing the sentence. For example, is a pencil will become la 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 la. Teacher can say the sentence and the students sing la 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 la, or vice versa. Now, I will be the teacher, you will be students. I say, it's a pencil. What do you say? Yes, la 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 la. If I say la 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 la, you say it's a pencil. That's how that works in the class. La 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 is the super easy way to familiarize the intonation of the sentence. Use different voices to vary the sentence intonation to catch the student's attention and interest is also another suggestion. The purpose of the whole first step is to set the firm foundation in students' mind with the main structure. Then substitute a part of the structure with many other substitutions. In this case, the teacher can substitute the object with other similar objects. Teacher can give each object and ask students to say the whole sentence. For example, the teacher say a pencil and the students say it's a pencil. The teacher may say a book and the students will say it's a book. A bag is a bag. This way can help students gradually understand how to form the structure. Then it's time to check your students' understanding. Provide a sentence, but take out the target language so they still have the guide in building their sentences. Then you can write is a and a blank. Then you can give more objects later. Like it's a pencil, it's a book, it's a bag, it's a book, it's a bag, it's a pencil. It's a bag, it's a pencil, it's a book. Like that. After that, point at random pictures and let your students use the vocabulary in their sentence. I suggest that you use your hand gesture when doing this to further help your students to remember more words. For example, the teacher can do the gesture of a bag and the students will say, is the bag. The teacher can do the gesture of the pencil and the students say, is the pencil. The teacher can do the gesture of a book, like opening a book like this. The students will say, it's the book. So are you ready? It's a, yes, it's a bag. And it's a book, yes, and it's a pencil, yes. Okay, are you ready? One more time. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, okay. So actually I just did the gesture of eating an apple. So the students is supposed to say it's an apple. In order to maximize repetition, the teacher can give more vocabulary in previous lessons for students to practice. But please don't give them new words. I'm sure that any young learners will be more interested in learning from a teacher that makes funny gesture when teaching them. This way, you can help them learn easily and remember the target language more. Now, let's go to the singing activity. In this part of the lesson, songs and chants are really good for structured practice. There are benefits of songs and chants in language learning and teaching. Using songs for further practice. But why? Practically, music and singing provide a great emotional and social learning process for the children. Aside from making your students feel relaxed and comfortable, you give a wonderful bonding experience for the whole class, which sets the environment for better learning experience for them. Here are some of the benefits that your students can get from music and singing activities. 1. These interesting music activities encourage your students to practice their pronunciation and intonation clearly. 2. You also help them adjust and correct their ears to rhythms of speech. 3. Because of this drilling practice, students are more exposed to the target language, as they frequently see and read the vocabulary, listen, perform certain movements, and sing. 4. With music activities, students can combine their learning abilities as they experience the songs and chant in a multi-sensory way. Your students learn productively through seeing, listening, and doing actions. And finally, that's why these songs and chants are retained in your students' memory for a long time. Let me share some suggested activities that you can apply into your teaching songs or chants. Singing along with the sound of la la la. This is the first suggestion. Instead of asking your students to sing right at the beginning, ask them la la with you first. This will get your students more familiar with the melody of the songs or the chant. Another suggestion is clap when you hear a word. You can assign some certain words before asking your students to clap when they hear the words. This activity will develop your students' listening skills also. One of my favorite suggestions is TPR, or Total Physical Response. This TPR allows students to learn and practice what they have learned by using physical movement to react to verbal input. You can have different ways to conduct these games in class. Like you can ask them to dance or to do gesture when they listen to the songs. Let's go to part D of the lessons, where students will have a controlled practice and have a chance to consolidate and practice the target language. Who doesn't like learning and having fun at the same time? Alan Smart Start textbook makes sure students have different fun activities to reinforce the vocabulary words and sentence structures they have learned in class. Now, let's go to the last part of the lesson, where students can use the target language freely. Students are encouraged to apply the knowledge in different kinds of fun activities and use the target language however they like, so that these students speak more naturally in their class. Now, let's think of this reality. Children learn best through experience and use, not explanation. They need fun, meaningful, and engaging activities. They just want you to be understood by the teachers. And you, as a teacher, you make your lessons simple yet very productive. Do not explain too much in your class. Instead, use engaging activities for them to master using the vocabulary words in their sentence structure. And with this Island Smart Start textbook, your teaching methodology, your expertise, and the fun activities I share with you, I am sure that you can keep your students motivated. You can successfully create a meaningful learning experience for them that they will surely remember for a long time. I hope that you will find some of my suggestions useful and applicable into your classroom. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.